Welcome back. Welcome back. Do me a favor, hit the like, share, subscribe buttons right now. Do that immediately right now. Welcome back. Welcome back to Sharp Edge News TV. I appreciate you for being here today. We have a very, how do I say this? We have some stories lined up for you today. It's going to be awesome. We have, today we're going to be talking about EL-RUFAI. Today we're talking about Trump and the Epstein's story that's getting gruesome and more gruesome. And then we're also going to talk about the Nigerian must go from Ghana. So we have some real stories that we want to talk about today. So get ready because you will be joining the conversation with us in the chat session. Folks, brace yourself because it's time to welcome the man who wears two very impressive hats. One as the publisher and editor-in-chief of SharpEdgeNews.com and the other as a high chief. Yes, you heard that right. The high chief or Dokwetu of Ayidi Nigeria. Do me a favor, give it up for the one and only High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Ola. I'm always very grateful that you are able to do this in a sustainable fashion, coming in every week and making sure that we stay focused and we always have something to give out to our much cherished viewers all over the world. Thank you indeed.
Welcome back, sir. Welcome back, sir. So I'm sure you have a especially special from SharpEdgeNews.com for us today.
Oh, certainly. Thank you so much. Our special focus is going to be about the way in which we continue to manage the magnitude of challenges that we have to face as people of African descent by way of identity and how we need to embrace that identity that it's uniquely ours. And what do I mean? While we find ordinary people, everyday individuals doing extraordinary things to really signal the fact that Africa is no pushover, you find people you would think are super champions, politicians, and other leaders trying to cut Africa by way of size and character, promoting ethnicity. I do not like reducing the different nations of Africa to what racist English terms would call tribes or ethnic groups. Because you find out that amongst the people who try to set the tone and tags by what standard, what they call tribes in Africa, they call nations in Europe and elsewhere. And so, for example, many of the countries of Europe that we view as being very big do not even measure to 1/3 of the Yoruba nation. That is, the people who speak and have the culture of Yoruba in southwest Nigeria, extending to, across the Nigerian border to Republic of Benin and Togo and elsewhere. You're talking of a people that are more than 60 million by population. Yet, by English classification, by Western standard, they would want that to be seen as a tribe or an ethnic group. It's a nation. And all over Africa, you will find more than 4,000 of those. But why are we mentioning this tonight? I'm deeply offended by the tantrum of somebody like Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso, Nigeria's former defense minister, one time two-time governor of Kano State, Nigeria, and leader of NNPP, New Nigerian People's Party, that made an impressive showing during the last 2023 presidential election. At least it was able to prove its mettle in a place like Kano State. What are we saying? When he came out last week describing all he could capture as the discrimination against northern Nigeria, things that have been done to marginalize the North. And I was taken aback that in this day and time, instead of promoting our Nigerians, getting united over all these things and pushing our cultures and ethnic considerations to the background and embracing our identity as Nigerians, as it's often done by less visible African countries. For example, when two countries of Tanganyika and Zanzibar came together, known today as Tanzania, during the time of the late President Julius Nyerere. You couldn't come to Tanzania. Even today, you don't come to Tanzania and remind people of the fact that there are 135 other ethnic groupings in that country. Yes, Nigeria is far complex than that, with more than 400 nations distilled as one. Yet, like Nyerere would recommend for the people of Tanzania, I think we can always celebrate our diversity. Yeah, culture is one thing that we must embrace, but when it comes to promoting national agenda, especially rescuing the country from ineptitude, nepotism, corruption, underdevelopment in all facets, we can embrace the idea of Nigeria as a country without accusing people of what is not. When politicians, for example, today they will say, oh, Tinubu is a Yoruba man leading the country. What, on a personal note, what has that brought to my family? What has it done for me in person? It is Tinubu's luck. He and his family members are doing well, and his appointees are doing very well. So don't make it, make that look like, oh, Yorubas are against Igbos, Igbos are against Hausas, and all that. The less of those things we push, the better for us. And so, while people like Rabi Kwakwaso are reducing the all-important discussion, political engagement on how Nigeria can be better, Nigeria and Nigerians can be better served. Look at the superlative performance of Nigeria as a Nigeria as a Super Falcons, our female national soccer team this past weekend. It was almost like the officiating referee would want to turn the table against this outstanding sportswomen as they were. But technology twice came to the rescue. Where there was no infraction, the referee was going to rule against Nigerian players. Where there were clear advantages for Nigerians, he was going to put them back. And each time the VCR, the video recording device there, was always coming to the rescue. So even while we try, Nigerian politicians do everything internally to destroy that country, there are enemies outside too. The profile of Nigeria can be very intimidating, which is why elsewhere you will find xenophobic rantlings against Nigerians, whether in South Africa, whether in Ghana, as recently as last week, where they were saying Nigerians must go. But look at the superlative performance of our Super Falcons. Nigeria is shining, and we would always do better. And special thanks to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm not his fan, but when you're talking of governance, but showing qualitative leadership, especially when a country serves assurances When a country operates with integrity, at the reception given to the Super Falcon players today, each of those players will be going home with about $100,000. The officials, 11 of them, will be going home with $50,000 each. And to cap it all, before that, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had rolled out other juicy stuff, including 3-bedroom apartments at the Renewed Hope Estate in Abuja. What more can a nation do? Our ladies have always done better. As somebody that was closely involved with women's sports in Nigeria at the time, I know that it's never been this good. It's never been this promising for our women athletes. They were always treated as afterthought. And kudos to states like Delta, Lagos, where they embrace management of sports professionally. And this will inspire other states where they take the business of sports as if it's nothing. And finally, on this segment, the Yorubas will say, for a lot. Tony Tombaje, Kilonfe Koloroshi. The famous and notorious Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, was at the convocation of University of Port Harcourt this last weekend. I think he was given a doctorate, honoris causa, honorary doctorate degree. And then he was almost bringing the roof down. He's banned But what would the young graduates that really owned that occasion, what were they expected to do? Wike again hijacked the place and was going to make all kinds of speeches. The recent speech that he made at St. James Anglican Church, Asokoro, Abuja, was what warranted the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, to put a ban, a lien on government officials and politicians coming to make any speech, so-called, at the altar of that church today. And when the deputy governor of Ondo State was going to be allowed to speak at the 10th coronation anniversary of the Deji of Akure, Obaodudu, a week ago, he saw the Archbishop of Ondo Ecclesiastical Province, Archbishop Simon Borokini, saying no, there is a standing order that politicians are not allowed to speak. So when would Yes Wike, when is he going to learn to comport himself, to behave with decorum? Yes, it can be entertaining. Politicians are fascinating entertainers, but there could always be a limit to all these things. Let the young, fresh university graduates of University of Port Harcourt own their occasion, and politicians who can be mischievous at times, like Yes Wike, should learn to do things with moderation. That said, Ola, good to be back this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Welcome back. All right, everybody, do me a favor. Let's take a quick, short 10 seconds break. You might need to collapse some of the, widgets, so you can hit the like button. Hit the like button. That's how we ping everybody else into the room. And then right now, we're about to get the show started.
And please subscribe. Subscribe. Very important.
Subscribe, follow, share. It's very, very important. This is how we spread the word. I want to say shout out to Babes Wind in the chat. Shout out to Blossom Show in the chat. And Babes Wind said Wike is sick. Very local fool. All right, says you. Interesting.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Great. So hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications, and we will be right back. All right, welcome back, welcome back. Let's talk about this. Nigerians must go. Major protests erupt in Ghana's capital. I'm looking at a report on Sahara Reporters. They said the protest comes amid rising tensions between Ghanaian citizens and segments of the Nigerian community following repeated incidents of criminal activity blamed on foreign nationals. Some Ghanaians on Saturday staged a protest at the popular Obra spot in Accra, demanding the immediate expulsion of Nigerians from their country over alleged involvement in crime and social vices. The protesters, who gathered in large numbers, displayed placards with messages such as "Nigerians must go," "End kidnapping," "End prostitution," "End armed robbery," "End fraud," and "End ritual murders. They accused some Nigerians of fueling insecurity and moral decay in Ghana, with some of the placards reading, "Who protects the right and freedom of Ghanaians? Nigerians are kidnapping and using people for rituals, and our kids are getting missing because of Igbos." In a viral video obtained by Sahara Reporters, several protesters are seen draped in the Ghanaian national flag, while others donned red clothing, a traditional symbol of
that word there is
resistance.
draped in Ghanaian flag.
Thank you. Draped. Yes, draped. Yes. So the protest comes amid rising tensions between Ghanaian citizens and segments of Nigerian communities, as I said earlier. He pointed okay, hold on one second. He said in the time would come when even they and their children wouldn't be able to go out to buy something or return home safely. Let me see here. Someone apparently, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Hold on one second. All right, so another placard read, "Our health at stake due to mass prostitution." All right, so it's a lot. Obviously, I can imagine only so many placards, but
Isn't that funny?
right, just about Nigerians
Our health is at stake.
at stake.
Because
Okay,
at
so
stake because of mass prostitution.
right, wasn't there some kind of event somewhere, maybe a couple of decades ago, about Ghana must go? What do you have to say about this one? You can take it away, sir.
Thank you very much. According to what historians have to serve on the plate, the back and forth on Nigeria must go, Ghana must go, did not start with this most recent event of this past week, and culminating in other forms of a protest this weekend till this morning. The first time that this occurred between the country of Ghana and Nigeria was when Ghana was still answering to the colonial name of Gold Coast in 1954. They were the first people to demand that Nigerians be sent packing during the colonial domination of United Kingdom. 1956 again, Ghana did same thing against Nigerians. And fast forward to after the government of the Osage for himself, the first post-colonial Prime Minister of Ghana, that is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, after the fall of his government, the military, sometime around the early 70s, decided to send Nigerians packing again. And then when Ghanaians that were not really doing well and fleeing from all kinds of shenanigans perpetrated by the military leaders of that time, decided to move. There was an exodus of Ghanaians to, let's say, migration of Ghanaians to Nigeria. And people like us benefited from the presence of Ghanaians in those days. I remember even as far as Ayedogbe, my hometown was, from Lagos, we had several Ghanaian teachers. Some of them I still remember, Mr. John Enti, who taught me literature and English language. I remember Mr. Peter Shea, who also was my literature teacher while I was in Form 2. There was Ado Yobo, who taught Christian religious knowledge, Mrs. Birago, who taught agriculture, and Baba Krampa, who was our commerce teacher. He used to pronounce what Nigerians call commerce. He used to pronounce it commerce. So many of these teachers, you find them at Ushu Grammar School, the neighboring town to us, and all over Nigeria. Some of them were also artisans who practiced what was it called, trade of a cobbler. There were some, because they are crying today, oh, it's too much prostitution from Nigerians. But I also remember that right at the back of our house in Ayede, there was this hotel, maybe it was a brothel, but you know, everything used to be called hotel, labeled hotel. There were Ghanaian sex workers there. I remember one of them, Efia.
Are you talking about Moonlight?
Yes, you're talking of oh, thank you, Ola, because you know that locality. Yeah, TS Moonlight. There were Ghanaian sex workers there. One of them was always very playful around town, jovial, but her name was Efia. So, what is now unique to Nigerians living in Ghana? Some of them getting involved in all kinds of activities, because according to Ghanaians, some of these activities will be seen as social vices, including sex work. I mean, this is the oldest form of trade all over the world. That Nigerians have the unfortunate situation of economic, what's it called? Economic situation in their country now, and then forgetting the fact that there are existing diplomatic protocols, bilateral and multilateral, in the name of sub-regional integration, ECOWAS. Way back in 1998, when Nigeria under General Abdulsalami Abubakar was preparing to transit from military rule to civilian democratic governance, the last ECOWAS summit there, if NTA still has the tape, they can play to the whole world. I had this unique question from the leaders of West African states attending that ECOWAS summit. Everything you've been saying here about regional integration, common currency that would compare with the euro in Europe, and all kinds of laudable economic integration and political integration objectives. I have traveled the West African sub-region extensively. There was no place I saw the common folk, citizens, buying into all the grandiose vision being eloquently put across within the ECOWAS auditorium at Asokoro, Abuja. And nobody could give a convincing response to my question that day. None of the present, the heads of government and heads of states that were present there. And that is what is dovetailing to what we are witnessing today. Yes, Europe does this. We have to have our own homegrown response. The economic, what's it called? The economic northern bloc of the world does this. This must be our appropriate response from Africa. But I tell you, the ordinary citizens of the different countries of West Africa are not buying into this vision, which is why this unfortunate xenophobic anger would just spring up, demanding for Nigerians to go back home. Nigerians will not go back anywhere because our leaders have committed to existing protocols on cooperation and integration in West Africa. And there is even a larger vision of that now all over Africa, that there must be more cooperation, more economic activities across artificially drawn 1885 Berlin conference, where Africa was balkanized by Europeans. Those are the things guiding the tantrums of our people. So who is suggesting to Ghanaians that when Nigerians leave their country, it is going to be kumbaya, that there won't be any more social vice in Ghana? There won't. So are Nigerians the ones running the scandals that we often hear in the leadership, or what's it called, government leadership of Ghana? People should look for some other scapegoats concerning whatever is happening there. Look at I was really laughing about the talk of rising prostitution, mass prostitution destroying their health. So why are they patronizing Nigerian prostitutes? Why are they? If somebody has something to offer, put something on the table. This is the negative thing I am offering you.
Right.
Can't you really keep yourself away from that?
You can also destroy the demand.
That's right. Wherever, there is always this thing. If you are the big brother in the room, there is always this tendency that people will look at you as being the alpha and omega of the issues bedeviling that environment. Nigeria is a big player all over the world. Nigeria is a big player. Look at the gang up that we witnessed in the officiating of the African Nations Cup for the ladies in Morocco. It's because it's Nigeria. And that is what you find in the political, social and economic space of Ghana today. They won't talk of the positive influence of Nigerians, how that economy continue to benefit from the spending power and influence of Nigerians there. Everything must be blamed on Nigerians. This is so unfortunate. And what is talking this? We are really entertaining the fantasy and the mischief in those who hate Africa and Africans. And nobody should do anything to suggest that we are incapable of loving each other. We must embrace things that really bind us together. The commonality between Nigerians and the Ghanaians are really more than what these people are playing up. As I'm talking to you here, one of my best friends all over the world is Dr. Edward Apia-Brafo in Ghana. We've come a long way in this country. He assisted me in so many ways to cope with the challenge of being disabled. How can I now begin to look at Ghanaians as if they are my enemies? They are not my enemies. I would rather put aside, and I would also enjoin fellow Nigerians to put aside whatever feeling we are nursing concerning this protest. It's not personal, and nobody should handle it personally. Let the leaders sit down, think between themselves. But Ghanaians should remember, after Nigerians must have left, like they are clamoring now, is that going to be the end of all the problems in Ghana? Certainly not. Certainly not. Some people are somewhere. It's almost like Kwakwanso blaming Tinubu for economic marginalization of northern Nigeria. Somebody would always look for a way of playing brothers against brothers, sisters against sisters. And politicians are good at that. I hope there are no individuals fanning the embers of this kind of suspicion and danger of mutual destruction between Nigeria and Ghana. It's the same thing you find in South Africa. The same thing you find everywhere. However, to conclude my contribution on this, whatever evil Nigerians are known for outside the shores of Nigeria and within Nigeria, I think we need to shun such vices and live responsibly. Remember, when you were living your different homes, you were reminded to remember the sons and daughters of whom you are. And such ethos of responsible conduct, gentlemanly courage, ladies of positive virtues must go with us wherever we go. We need to shun anything that will make people to look down on us as if we are the start and the end of the problems of their lives. Thank you.
All right. So I guess with that being said, don't you think we should finally just put this beef to rest now? Which one is better, Nigeria jollof or Ghanaian jollof?
There would always be Nigerian jollof. There would always be Ghanaian jollof. I have tried both. Honestly,
are you a politician or a journalist? Which one?
I'm a journalist. What I'm telling you is, I've had occasions to travel to Ghana for reportorial duties. 2009, when President Barack Obama was there, I was one of the journalists who went there to report on that visit by President, former President.
And you felt like Ghana jollof should enter the same room as Nigerian jollof.
You savor whatever Ghanaian jollof gives you and enjoy the peculiarities of
oh my God,
Nigerian
we can't get an answer out of you. Oh my God. Blossom Show says Nigerians should comport themselves in Ghana because of all these kidnappings, rituals, killings they enjoy doing. Nigeria should not be exported to another man's land. Ouch.
Well said. I agree completely.
Okay. Blossom Show also said Nigeria jollof is the best. Shout out to Abby. I see you, Abby.
Well, the truth of the matter is that you really can't say you have eaten Nigerian jollof, enjoy it in its own unique way. When you also have your Ghanaian jollof, make sure you don't compare between the two. Otherwise, you will be really messing your palate up, your taste bud. Just enjoy whatever is on your table in a unique way.
Miss Elizabeth Omotayo says Nigeria jollof is the best. I don't know, but I think Nigerian jollof is the best.
I won't be dragged to such contestations. All I know is that Nigerian jollof has a strength, Ghanaian jollof has a strength. There must be something binding us together.
But there's only one of them that has weakness, that doesn't have smoke. You don't want to say Nigerian smoke, Nigeria jollof, Nigeria smoky jollof. There's only one. So there's only one that has weakness of smoke.
I didn't know. I did not. I don't remember you being an executive chef. What I know is that, I don't remember you being an executive chef. Although I know that you have had something to do with executive chef soy oil. But the truth of the matter, is that you savor each meal the way they come. That is it.
Okay. With that being said, Nigerians, let's behave ourselves in another man's land. I don't think they can get rid of us. We are controlling the economy in that place. I don't think so, but I understand. Let's just behave ourselves. With that being said, you can't get rid of us. Nigeria, they carry last. But hit the like button, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. We will be right back. All right, welcome back. Trump and Epstein, the cover up they don't want you to see. I wonder what this is about. There's an article on theatlantic.com and it says Trump's desperate move to quiet the Epstein scandal. The president tries to distract his followers with revisionist history about the Russia investigation. Last week, the Trump administration made its latest and most comically desperate attempt to distract from the Jeffrey Epstein scandal when Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard claimed that she had unearthed bombshell proof of a Barack Obama-era plot to invent the conclusion that Russia had intervened in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump. Soon after, Trump's Truth Social account circulated an AI video depicting Obama being led off to prison. The message to his followers was that this scandal, not the other scandal involving a certain wealthy sex offender was the one to focus on. This message contains multiple levels of dishonesty. On the surface, the effort to draw attention away from Epstein is glaring. Below that lies the wild claim that Obama or his top officials might somehow be charged with crimes, and the fantasy of prosecutions rests on yet another ludicrous claim that Russia did not attempt to help Trump win in 2016. The president has managed to open a debate over whether the intelligence community's conclusion that Russia helped Trump was a crime, when in reality it was not even a mistake. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. Who would have believed that in the first place? But
Who would have believed what?
I mean, whatever picture they were trying to paint with
Of
dragging
course, there are
Obama.
gullible. There is a critical mass of us Americans that are quite gullible.
Wow.
Remember how I play on the on this Make America Great Again MAGA office in Nigeria. There is a different meaning to being a MAGA. It means somebody is a sucker. You believe everything, you fall for it, and then that person is doomed.
Yeah.
Of course, that is almost the parallel that can be drawn with the state of anomy in which Americans and America wallow at the moment. For example, we all are grown-ups when the 2016 election of Donald Trump took place. It was, he ran against Mrs. Hillary Clinton, one-time senator, one-time secretary of state. And it was glaring the influence of all kinds of individuals using manipulative tools on the social media to set the agenda and to twist the thinking of many of us Americans at that moment. At least, if not most of us, a critical mass of us were deceived. So to now want to scapegoat Barack Obama, remember last week I was telling you about how all these different topics have been spun in order to distract from the main issues of the what's it called? The unraveling of the American socio-economic order. How people have been, how the what's it called? The social security net for several American families have been taken, and then to change the topic of discussion, to change the attention, and to really make sure that Americans do not really focus on such issues. You find the bombing of nuclear facilities, a matter that did not call for America's intervention in the first place. It was a face-off between the countries of Israel and Iran, but America got involved in order to distract us. So many other things. You need to look at the queue, even look at the way the media has come under attack. Look at the fact that somebody like Stephen Colbert will no longer, come May 2026, will no longer anchor his late night show anymore on CBS. All these things are coming in the wake of the senseless and ill-advised tariff war that was self-instigated by Donald Trump. So he's capable of putting any joker out there, and you will find a critical mass of Americans latching on to it, because in their mind, and it's only in their mind and twisted imagination, that a former president, just because of his racial identity, the first American black president, Barack Obama, because of his race. That is why anybody will imagine that, it will be matched off to, that is why anybody would generate AI stuff and say, it will be matched up to prison. And you need to listen to some of our American folks when they push that agenda. Oh, Barack Obama isn't going to go. I mean, wasn't go to prison. What was it? Kamala Harris is going to go to prison and all that. They have their long list of stuff coming out of their conspiratorial school of thought. People who they think, including former President Joe Biden, who they think would be shipped off to prison. I do not know why people think that way. It is all twisted. They are getting it wrong. That they have somebody who is really turning things upside down, and they do not want to, his own what's it called? His own ludicrous and ridiculous thought process is also finding a mix with the, with the thought process of the ordinary folks out there who think he is their savior, who think that they find a Messiah in him. But the whole thing is driven by bigotry. Somebody has a poor handle on the economy of his country. He has pushed people into all kinds of misery. He doesn't know the short way out, the short-term route to dig himself out of it. So it complicates things further. And that thing they don't want us to know. Well, because everybody is scared of being slammed with what's it called, lawsuit that could lead to humongous amount of debt in what's it called, in fines and what have you. But look at his former collaborators like Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal going for his jugular, and how much is demanding billions of dollars from that media organization. But Rupert Murdoch, whoever thought that Rupert Murdoch would turn against Donald Trump? It's almost like the Elon Musk fiasco too. So one after the other, people are going to, queue in line to say that no, this man is really confusing Americans, and we really do not know the real personnel of America anymore. And in order for us not to foray too far in the wrong direction, I think checks and balances are coming in somehow. That's what I can say at this moment. But as to what it doesn't want people to know, that is already out there. No matter how hard it tries to change the topic, people are really digging in, and they are saying he was an enabler. For identifying for more than 15 years with Epstein, even saying he was proud of him, describing him as a fine man and all those things in the past. They feel if they scratch further beyond the surface, there will be something tying the two of them together that was it at any time. We can only, we don't want to, let us continue to follow the facts, particularly if things are declassified from what was kept from the grand jury earlier, what can be unearthed from the FBI files, and other possible public hearings that could at some point take place. But of course, the standard of justice that we are seeing here is laughable, and there is no precedence for it, that the Deputy Attorney General of the United States of America will go to a federal prison facility to continue to negotiate with somebody that was already slammed with 20 years prison term for being part of the sex trafficking ring that culminated in the judgment that they are trying to extricate themselves from at this point.
Right.
So we can only fold our arms and continue to watch where all this would lead. I mean, would lead us. Where, I mean, we want to really watch out for the culmination. But I think no matter the amount or the strength of a delicate balancing act, and no matter how they try to pull the wool on our eyes, something tells me that America's strong institutions would expose all these characters at the end of the day.
In due time. Yep.
In due course.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do us a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Also, join the conversations. What are your thoughts? Share your thoughts in the comment section. All right, let's move on. We have other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back. EL-RUFAI banned for 30 years. For 30 years? What happened? I'm looking at a special report here. I don't know how special it is, but it's a report on Punch Nigeria. It says SDP expels EL-RUFAI, bans him for 30 years. The National Working Committee, Social Democratic Party, has expelled former Kaduna Governor Malam Nasir EL-RUFAI from the party. SDP declared EL-RUFAI as ineligible to associate with the party in any capacity for the next 30 years. The leadership of the party accused him of falsely parading himself as a party member, manipulating internal processes, and attempting to destabilize the party through unconstitutional actions and deceptive political maneuvers. This was made known in a statement signed and made available to our correspondent by the National Publicity Secretary Araba Ayenigba in Abuja on Monday. According to him, the party's NWC reached the decision following thorough investigation into EL-RUFAI's controversial claims of membership and what they described as alleged backdoor political activities, which has fueled internal divisions and threatened the party's unity and ideological integrity. The statement read, EL-RUFAI never registered with the SDP at its ward level as required by the party's constitution, yet falsely declared on social media that he had joined the party. He further forged documents and claiming membership and took photo opportunities with suspended party leaders to reinforce this falsehood. In line with the constitution of the SDP, the ideology, manifesto, principles and practices thereof, and in consonance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Electoral Act pertaining to the exclusive right of a political party to determine its membership, the National Working Committee deliberated on the controversial membership status of Nasir Ahmad EL-RUFAI from Kaduna State, who has in recent months been parading himself as a member of the SDP despite the assertion of the Kaduna State executives that he has not joined the SDP but has instead been promoting the activities of the other political parties in the state. Isn't SDP the same party that was the home party for the MKO Abiola campaign back in 1990 something?
Yeah, I do not know if this is a this is a resurrection of the old Social Democratic Party that I mean we all anchored our hope on in 1993. I do not know I do not know if there is any organic connection between the.
Why is this man being rejected? Why is this man being rejected everywhere? What is going on? Can you bring us up to speed, sir?
Good question. Yes, I'm not a big fan of Nasir El-RUFAI.
Nasiru. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nasir El-RUFAI. Mm-hmm. I'm not his big fan. However, you can also understand without being told, without things being said uh, into details, that those who think that the man constitutes some, I mean, you just think, okay, is diminutive? Is this, is it capable of all that have been ascribed to him? Certainly, yes. But in this instance, do not be surprised that another official of this party, Social Democratic
SDP.
Party, SDP, tomorrow may come out to counter what the so-called
publication.
National Publicity Secretary Araba Ayenigba, what has been quoted to have said in this statement. Another person will come, because there is no absolute about positions taken by representatives of institutions in Nigeria. Of course, Nigeria is the place where there will be a supposed court ruling, injunction, and then you find 1,000,001 interpretations to that same court ruling. That is Nigeria for you.
So isn't that sad?
Yeah, it's a major manifestation of a state that is failing. But the point I'm making here is that El-RUFAI has toned down a bit on his so-called membership of Social Democratic Party, SDP. Lately, he identifies more with the African Democratic Congress, ADC, which is the legacy party that...
the coalition party?
Yeah, the legacy coalition party that he and other less... I mean, people who do not think that their interests are being protected within the ruling APC. That is where they find some nest lately. So I do not know what this statement from Ayeniba, I do not know what it's supposed to achieve. However, why is El-RUFAI considered dangerous? His troubles with the current government. He worked strenuously. He worked so hard to get President Bola Ahmed Tinubu elected into office. But his trouble started when he personally started bragging about what he did to conjure and to make the Muslim presidential ticket a nightmare for Nigerians. Even after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had taken his vice presidential candidate. You remember El-RUFAI went into some meetings with certain Northern Islamic clerics and leaders and faithfuls, declaring with zest that yes, they had contained the influence of Christians all over Nigeria, and it's their turf, and they have really shown them the stuff they have made, that Muslims run the show in Nigeria. That was considered a major insensitive verbal diarrhea, and something that could spark real political inferno across the country. That was the security report that worked against him after he was screened to become a minister before the National Assembly. Nobody should pretend as if we do not know the events that led to his fall from grace to grass. And he's been running around. And do not forget also that if Nigerian security people, if they really want to, apparatchiks, when they really want to work, they have the capability. So everything, the antecedents of El-RUFAI were known to most security operatives in Nigeria. And I'm sure the dossier on him was really overrunning. And so they were ready for him. I mean, there are things that he should own up to. How he made the state of Kaduna ungovernable under his leadership when he was governor for 8 years. How he bragged about bringing in all kinds of political mercenaries, killer squad to that state to really subdue southern Kaduna, and other things that he's done. He's seen as dangerous. Yes, he's a short man, short devil kind of. And so nobody really would want to easily, as a matter of fact, if ADC would want to be taken seriously, it also has to begin to, because I really do not know how somebody like Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is going to is going to be able to sell the personality and character of Nasir El-RUFAI to Nigerians as somebody who is now his political associate. I do not know how that idea will be bought by majority of Nigerians or several Nigerians. Because if the truth must be told, like I've said in the introduction to our show today, the way these people are ethnicizing the politics of Nigeria and making it to look like, oh, somebody is against. Ordinarily, somebody like me initially was really enthused and excited about the coming of the so-called political coalition. This thing coalescing around the ADC, people like Rotimi Amechi and others. But looking at the involvement of somebody like El-RUFAI, personally already, I'm like, no, these guys are really joking. Nigerians will come out swinging against El-RUFAI, and El-RUFAI is going to be that individual that that will really be paraded, mocked publicly for what he stands for. He is nothing. He is nobody other than a rabid hater, somebody who exists for nothing other than the hegemony of a certain nation in that country. And with him, you can be sure that nobody would really say that they are safe. Look at the number of killings that occurred in Nigeria, especially around the northwestern state of Kaduna, where he was calling the shots as a two-time governor. I'm sure if Nigerian government really wants to do a serious serious investigation on the involvement of individuals, persons like El-RUFAI concerning the insecurity and the instability in Nigeria, there would something will come up. So wherever he goes now, it has become a project for the ruling party, the ruling government in Nigeria, to make sure that they will they ambush and make sure that it becomes an hard sell. That is what I suspect to be going on there, Ola.
Wow, it's a lot going on. Let me read some of these comments to you.
Yeah.
So we have Blossom Show says El-RUFAI is a short devil who involved himself in the killing of Christians. Sorry, 1 second. Involved himself in the killing of Christians in the southern Kaduna and included the killers' names in the state's payroll.
That's right.
Elizabeth Omotaya says El-RUFAI is a Muslim fanatic who always has a jihad agenda. And
I suspect that may really be right.
Mm-hmm. She also says El-RUFAI is a Muslim fanatic who always... Oh, no. His political allies know him more than we do. El-RUFAI is evil. Interesting. This is an interesting character. I'm still getting used to the difference between the name El-RUFAI and Lai Mohammed, but I think I'm getting the grip of it. They're two different people.
do not forget that the APC leadership in which Lai Mohammed and El-RUFAI served, that was the government of the later president, the late former president Muhammadu Buhari
Muhammadu Buhari, yeah.
What did they not do? Lai Mohammed made it his personal agenda to run Nigerian online journalism
Online
genre,
media.
to disrupt and destroy. And the way he was spending millions saying something is fake news and all, you would think he was the originator of that phrase, something that came from the purveyor of fake news himself, Donald Trump. He honed it and used it to stage all kinds of schemes, divisive schemes, to destroy and polarize the media the media in Nigeria. Until today, there are people who are successors to his suspicious evil agenda and legacy, who try to look at those of us who operate online as journalists as enemies of people who are using the tools of a traditional journalism practice. And we all are one. Because when they are done with online journalists, you don't think they will come for the so-called radio, television, and hard copy newspaper journalists? This is the point I made at the 98th birthday of a late Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde, the former Lagos State governor. I was invited there as a guest of honor. And I spoke on the necessity for all journalists, whether you practice online, whether you belong to traditional newspaper, what's it called? Outfit, radio, television, whatever the platform, we all must see ourselves as one. But Lai Mohammed did not believe in that. And the same agenda, rabid hatred for institutions. And when people are like that, there is a common denominator for them. Why they want to hide so much, why they want to wage propaganda war against credible media organizations is because of that thing they do not want to own up to. Something corrupt must be going on somewhere, whether in government or in their personal lives. No matter how hard they try to reinvent themselves, Nigerians know who they are. The world know them. This is the situation. Hello,
all right, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my that's my own submission on the character of somebody like Nasir El-RUFAI, and it's almost the same with Lai Mohammed. That's it.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how things unfold. I'm watching it as well. You know, this SDP ADC thing, I mean, we're getting closer and closer to 2027, and things are getting real, things are getting interesting. It's like your favorite soap opera or maybe Ratchet reality TV show. We're going to watch it unfold.
We continue to, yes.
So we'll see.
We want to see if it's going to be an effective gang up or opposition politics. Let's see.
I mean, he actually resigned from APC, so but we know that there's a lot of behind the scenes things that happened, obviously.
Well,
so
can you honestly, on a good day, can you imagine a party like SDP rejecting anybody? But that is the way it is.
What are you saying? Are you saying is that bad? Like it's
what is their followership? In a place like Idonre, where they once had somebody who was voted into the House of Representatives, what happened eventually? The person became to APC. You know, I think they used to call the guy Small Alaji or somebody like that.
I think they had Natasha too. Natasha Apoti before, right? They had that before.
No, Ireti Kingibe as senator representing FCT. Natasha ran on their platform. SDP. Yes, Natasha ran on their platform for governorship of Kogi State.
That's true.
She did not win. And remember how she was harassed, and then she crossed into PDP, where she eventually was able to expose the underhand political gangsterism of then
Yaya Bello.
if not Yaya Bello. You know, and then the court eventually gave her victory to
Right.
emerge
Right.
the senator. But after becoming the senator representing Kogi Central in the Nigerian Senate,
Right.
what do we have today? See,
Hmm.
I mean,
A
all
mess. The suspension.
the forces of what's it called? Retrogression came
Hmm.
after her, and they are not allowing her to function as she ought to. So these are some of the um, contradictions and interesting uh, issues involved in contemporary Nigerian politics, and we
Hmm.
hope a better dawn, a better day comes. But we are not giving up on Nigeria. We discuss all these things so that there could be a better fix. But I do not. I'm not unmindful of the fact that the ruling government in Nigeria um, may be really involved. Some of the things going on may
Hmm.
be, may be the practical involvement. How the government of the day is dabbling into to just make sure that the opposition doesn't find a peaceful uh, place to perch, so that the administration is not rattled. But if it's resulting to desperate measures like this, then you know that they are rattled. We only
Yeah.
pray that there will be interesting and engaging time uh,
Yeah.
for, I mean, in the days ahead for the country of, or the land of our ancestral country of Nigeria. Good
Hmm.
luck. Yeah.
Absolutely. You're watching Sharp Edge News TV. Do us a favor, hit like, share, subscribe, and follow. We appreciate you for being here today. Again, a quick shout out to Blossom Show, to Babes Waynes, to Abby. Abby stopped by. I see you, and I see Elizabeth Omotayo. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please help us share, 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 share. Hopefully, you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. Take God, and God bless.